What's up, guys? It's Ben in Parts here. Welcome back to episode 65 of this podcast, where we break down, 64, where we break down cryptids, their sightings, their possibilities, what they could or couldn't be, and if they could be real or not. And today, we have the Santer. No, not the Santos, not a conman in Congress. No, not the Santos family. No, not the Santander, the bank. No, the Santer, which is reported in Henry H. Treon's Fearsome Critters to be one of the few marauding varmints reported below the Mason and Dixon line in America, and is particularly common in Western Carolina. Now, what is the Santer? Well, appearance-wise, it's meant to be long in shape, and it's meant to be covered with reddish long hair in turn, so it's shaggy all over. It's meant to have a huge round head, which is different from the rest of the body, in the sense that the head is bald. Completely bald, not a shred of hair on it. Its legs and feet, yes, you've guessed it, are also long, but it has small eyes that have an intensely mean look, which you're soon about to find out why. Its tail, bizarrely enough, is as long as its body, or almost as long, and it has 8 hard knots in it, a bit like the club on an Ankylosaurus, the dinosaur in the dinosaur era that had a large bony club that it would use to beat people with. And you're going to find out why, because this tail, which looks like a string of beads, can be swung with incredible power and skill. Enough with one single slap to knock out a cow or a hog. No wonder it has evil, mean-looking little eyes. And, needless to say, this tail can be very effectively used in combat against anyone and anything. However, the issue with the Santer is that it can travel so fast that it barely ever has to scrap, and it barely ever has to brawl. It can run around at incredible speed. It can dash across obstacles at incredible speed. It very rarely ever has to actually engage in combat with anyone or anything. And when it actually does, its tail is so bony and it's so lethal that it can pretty much beat you up immediately without any shred of a doubt. And anyway, it doesn't even get the chance to do this very much, not only because it's very fast and so rarely needs to engage in combat, but because it lives mainly in wooded swamps around small villages where cattle and hogs are kept, which are, obviously, its main prey. And because it's so fast and because it lives in such secluded areas, it's very rarely seen. But its cry is a very piercing baby-like wail, which is a cry often used by, will-o'-the-wisps and evil spirits to lure people in, which is an interesting link. I wonder if there's some link there. But the cry is said to be eerie because it sounds like a baby wailing, thus meaning that someone could be drawn in from compassion, but yet the creature is so evil and so dichotomous. And it's said that this dichotomy is absolutely shown in the way it kills things and the way it's reported to have been killed things, because there's a calf known to have been killed by one of these near Statesville, and it had 8 distinct bruises, 7 all over its body and 1 on its broken foreleg, and it clearly had been hit so quickly that the hair around each bruise was seriously singed. Yes, it caused singeing, and there have been several reported dead and missing cats in the 1890s, and many of them were also reported to have had hair singed off them, and people attributed that absolutely to the Santer, this strange cat-like creature which can kill often with a single blow. And it does make me wonder if it has links to other big cat-like cryptids like the dingmawl and like the Central American wind tosser, because there are multiple cryptids reported that have bony club-like tails, and they all seem to share some characteristics. They can be lethal to people, they can be deadly to encounter, and people tend to keep away from them. I do wonder if there's a link, because there's also the bald-tailed cat as well as the dingmawl. There's also the Columbia River sand squink, which has something a little female about it. But what do you guys think? There's not a huge amount of information out there about this Santer, but it seems to tie in with certain spiritual folklore in a sense, and it seems to also tie in with this big cat folklore, which has continued to the present day, given the Beast of Bodmin and other large cats seen in England, given the Thylacine seen in Australia. Have any of you ever seen this cryptid or something like it? Do you know of anyone who has? Have you got any stories in folklore that I could maybe tell? Please drop those in the comment section below, and stay tuned for episode 65 of this series, where I'm going to stop going over Lumberjack Cryptids so much and transition to other cryptids. And I'm going to soon start a podcast on UFOs and aliens and flying saucers. So without further ado, I will see you in the next video.